Have you ever stopped to wonder what you, a human being, have in common with something like an earthworm? Well, it might be a lot more than you think. In this explainer, we're going to pull back the curtain on nature's universal blueprint, the four basic materials used to build every single animal on Earth, from the tiniest insect all the way up to us. So let's just start with a huge question. Think about it. You are made of trillions of individual cells. How in the world do they all know what to do? How do they organize themselves into a person who can think and move and breathe? It seems kind of impossible, right? But it turns out nature has a really elegant plan. And the answer lies in this surprisingly simple hierarchy. The best way to think about it is like building with Legos. You start with the individual bricks. Those are your cells. Then you click similar bricks together to make a section of a wall. That's a tissue. You put a few of those walls together to build a whole room. Well, that's an organ. And finally, you connect all the rooms to build a house, and that's your organ system. It's this beautiful step-by-step process that makes all this complexity possible. So, here's our game plan for today. We're going to dive deep into each of these four fundamental building materials, one by one. We'll look at the coverings, the framework, the engines, and of course, the wiring. Then, we'll see how this blueprint really comes to life by checking out how a couple of very different animals are put together. All right, let's get into it. We're starting with the very first layer, epithelial tissue. I want you to think of this as the body's protective wrapping paper. It covers literally every surface, both inside and out. This tissue is our absolute essential barrier against the outside world. See how its cells are packed super tightly together, kind of like bricks in a wall? There's almost no space between them, and that creates this perfect seal. And it's not just your skin. It lines all of your internal organs, all your body cavities and tubes. It's everywhere. Now here's where it gets really clever. As you can see right here, these epithelial cells come in three main shapes. You've got these flat, pancake-like ones called squamous, then these cube-shaped ones called cuboidal, and these tall, pillar-like cells called columnar. And trust me, this isn't just for looks. Each shape is a highly specialized tool for a very specific job. And this table just lays it all out perfectly, that link between a cell's structure and what it does. The super thin squamous cells, they're perfect for delicate linings where stuff needs to pass through quickly, like in your blood vessels. The cube-like cuboidal cells are great for lining small ducts and tubes. And those tall columnar cells you find in your intestine, they have a ton of volume for the heavy-duty jobs of secreting and absorbing nutrients. Form follows function. Okay, so we've got our covering. Now we need the actual framework, right? And that is the job of our second material, connective tissue. If epithelial tissue is the body's drywall and paint, then this stuff is the structural scaffolding that gives the whole body its shape and support. This is actually the most abundant and diverse tissue in your entire body. Its whole mission is to link, support, and anchor everything else. It provides that essential strength, elasticity, and flexibility that lets you move. And all connective tissues, well, except for blood, secrete fibers like collagen that give it that structural support. The cells are all embedded in something called an intercellular matrix, which can be anything from a liquid to a really dense solid. And you can immediately see the difference between the two main types right here. On the left, that loose connective tissue has its fibers and cells kind of spread out in the matrix. But look at the right. That dense connective tissue has its fibers packed in super tight. That tells you right away that it's built for serious strength. And this one category is just incredibly versatile. It ranges from that soft, web-like areola tissue that cushions your organs, to the adipose tissue that stores energy as fat, all the way to that dense, rope-like tissue that forms your tough tendons and ligaments. But believe it or not, its diversity doesn't even stop there. Okay, this is where it gets really, really interesting. So specialized connective tissue includes things you'd totally expect, like the firm cartilage in your joints and the solid bone that makes up your skeleton. But it also includes something you would probably not expect: blood. So why is a liquid considered a connective tissue? Well, it actually fits the definition perfectly. It has cells, your red cells, your white cells, floating in a liquid matrix, which we call plasma. And its main job is to connect every other system in the body by delivering oxygen and nutrients. It's a pretty brilliant piece of biological classification, right? All right, time for the engines and the wiring of the body: muscle and neural tissues. These are the tissues that are responsible for creating every action and sending every communication. Muscle tissue is all about one thing: movement.
It's made of these long fibers that are packed with special proteins that can literally slide past one another. So when they get a signal, they slide, and that shortens the entire fiber. This powerful contraction is the force behind everything, from you taking a single step to the beating of your heart.
And we have two main types that we control very differently. On the one hand, you've got skeletal muscle. This is the stuff attached to your bones, and it's voluntary. You decide, I'm going to lift my arm, and boom, it happens. On the other hand is smooth muscle. This is the automatic muscle that lines your stomach and your blood vessels. You don't have to think about digesting your food. It just happens, all thanks to this tissue. And then there's the heart. It gets its own unique hybrid muscle, cardiac muscle. It's got the powerful, striped structure of skeletal muscle, which lets it contract with a ton of force. But it's also involuntary, like smooth muscle, so it can beat consistently and automatically every single second of your life without you ever having to think about it. It is the perfect design for the body's most important pump. And finally, we get to the master controller, neural tissue. This is the body's entire wiring and its central computer. It's built from these incredible cells called neurons, which you can see right here. They're designed to do one thing unbelievably well: transmit information at crazy high speeds using electrical and chemical signals. This huge network is what allows your muscles to contract, your organs to function, and your brain to make sense of the world. It's the system that literally runs the entire show. Okay, so we've looked at the 4 core building materials. Let's zoom back out now and see how these 4 tissues actually come together to create a complex, living, breathing organism. Let's start with a creature that seems pretty simple on the surface: the earthworm. It might not look like much, but its body is a fantastic example of how these tissues are organized super efficiently. It's basically a masterclass in modular design. You see, its body is made of over 100 repeating segments. These are called metameres. Each one of these segments is like a mini-body, containing its own bits of muscle for movement, neural tissue for control, and a protective outer layer of epithelial tissue. It's this modular design that gives the worm its incredible flexibility. Now, let's level up the complexity with the frog. Here, those same 4 tissues create highly specialized organ systems. Its digestive tract is lined with that columnar epithelial tissue for absorption. Its powerful leg bones are a form of specialized connective tissue. Those legs are powered by big bundles of skeletal muscle tissue. And the whole thing is coordinated by a complex brain and nervous system made of neural tissue. You see? It's the same 4 ingredients, just arranged into a far more complex and capable structure. So there you have it. Whether it's a worm, a wolf, or a whale, the blueprint is the same. 4 fundamental tissues, assembled in endless, incredible combinations. It's really nature's ultimate example of how simplicity can give rise to just breathtaking complexity. So the next time you look at any animal, including the one in the mirror, take a second to think about the elegant, invisible architecture that makes it all possible.